Welcome to the Great Awakening, Divine People. I'm Mermaid Tells, and today I'm back with another pick a card reading. So this is going to be a pick a door reading and a pick a deck. So what I want you to do is focus in on a door, and whichever door you pick, I'm going to use the deck underneath it in order to get the message. So before I get started with this reading, I would love for you all to connect with me on my Instagram page, which is at Mermaid Tells 5335. So as you can see, this reading is broken into 3 piles. Here's the door for pile number 1. Here's the door for pile number 2. And here is the door for pile number 3. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first door and the first deck. All right, so hello and welcome to everyone attracted to pile number 1. This is going to be your reading on what obstacle you just overcame and what's next. So you were attracted to this reading with this card. What I'm going to do is put this over to the side, and we're going to see what's underneath that card later, but I want to pull your messages from this deck. Now, this is the Enchanted Maps deck, and I feel like you all were drawn to this particular door. You know, if you look at it, it's almost like you see the key here, and you see like this keyhole. So it's almost like whatever obstacle you just overcame is helping you to propel into your future. You know, it's like unlocking some kind of door to some kind of new beginning. So let's go ahead and see. You know, for some of you with this map, it could have something to do with travel. It could have something to do with forward movement. That's a really big feeling. I feel like this change, this obstacle that you had to overcome, it's more than just any obstacle. Sometimes we can have obstacles where it's like, okay, I just need to study really hard and pass my driver's test. And sometimes there are obstacles that take you into new places. So some of you, it actually could have been that driver's test thing. I'm seeing some of you unlocking the door to your own home, unlocking the door to a car especially. So let's see. Let's see what obstacle pile number 1 just overcame. And let's see what's next for you all. Oh, interesting how that card just like gently, the way your cards came out was so interesting, right? The card that's revealed is into the unknown. The card that sort of really smoothly slid out was this one, and the rest of them are turned over. So this is beautiful. And on the bottom of the deck, I'm seeing solitude. So whatever obstacle you just had to overcome, pile number 1s, I feel like it has a lot to do with I feel like you had to be by yourself. This is something that you had to think about by yourself. Some of you had to really overcome some mental distortions, the way that you were viewing the world. Some of you may have been attracted to false lights. And what I mean by that is attracted to people, places, or situations that may have felt like home. But when you look at it from a deeper level, they may just have felt like home because maybe you were used to some kind of toxic environment and they felt comfortable, they felt normal in that kind of way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the home you deserve to be in. So it's almost like you all, like I'm seeing some of you literally just spending lots of time in solitude, lots of time by yourself, really sort of trying to get clarity, because the more you're able to gain clarity, the more you're able to see through sort of like illusions. You know, for some of you, it could have been seen through deceit. There could have been people, places, or situations that were deceptive in some kind of way. So let's see what's next. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the deck. Let's see your cards. I'm going to leave this revealed, but I love the rainbow. I love the energy coming off of here already. All right, beautiful. The first one says coming to life. So exactly what I was saying, pile number 1s. You know, I feel like an obstacle you all had to overcome was what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel passionate. You know, it's almost like you all were building yourself up. You all, it's likely that you may have looked to other people to build you up, other people to validate you in the past, but I feel like that was the obstacle you had to overcome. You had to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. You had to learn what independence and autonomy means to you. You had to find your own power and find your own balance. So the obstacle you just overcame was basically breathing breath back into your life, breathing passion back into your life. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you all started some kind of, especially with this butterfly, there's been transformation. Some of you could have started some kind of new career. Some of you could have left some matrix kind of career to pursue some kind of artistic career. Like I'm seeing some dancers out there, or some composers, you know, whatever, however art resonates with you. I feel like you all had to understand your ability to create. Many of you may not have thought that you even had that ability to create. So I really do feel like definitely becoming grounded was a big obstacle that you had to overcome. And what's so beautiful is how this is literally setting the stage for this card, this energy over here. Let's see the two cards in the middle. Wow, look at this. Rock bottom, exactly. So talk about rock bottom and cleaning house. Talk about major obstacles. So I love that these cards are right in the middle, and then you have these on either side, because this is the way I'm reading it. It's almost like an obstacle. You all, like, you also see how this is in number 10. You all really had to climb your way up from rock bottom. So whatever rock bottom meant to you, whether that's, you know, starting something completely over, maybe you had, you know, some kind of finances escape you, and now you have to start over at square one. Maybe you got a divorce, you stopped a relationship and you have to start over. I feel like you all were just at a place where you may have felt like you were at rock bottom. And the thing about being at rock bottom is that it makes you feel like there's no one there to support you. You know, it goes back into that solitude card. Some of you may have had no choice but to retreat into solitude because the people around you may have left, or may have, you know, went to other places. So it's almost like you really had to try to figure out what life means to you. That's what this coming to life card, you know. So the beautiful part is this was the obstacle, being at rock bottom, seeing how you were going to handle rock bottom when everything was seemingly taken away from you, when there's seemingly no place to go, no person by your side to lift you up out of this ditch. Were you able to lift yourself up? Even if you see this coming to life card, it's literally like this person is lifted up, like they've sort of accumulated whatever this is, you know, like just something to help you feel grounded, something to help you feel balanced, so you can stand on your own 2 feet without needing anyone to pull you out. You know, I feel like you all may have learned independence, or what it means to be autonomous for the first time, because it's likely you didn't have anyone who, maybe you didn't have anyone who knew you were at a rock bottom. This doesn't just have to be a physical rock bottom where everything's taken from you. You could have been feeling this internally, and the people around you may not have known how to lift you up out of this. So, you know, I feel like what's next is you all lifted yourself out of this, and that's the stepping into your power thing. So it's very beautiful. You know, with this cleaning house thing, you could be doing some kind of spring cleaning right now. Again, this could quite literally just be what I was talking about in the beginning, which is like clearing out people, places, or situations. Especially, you know, one of the greatest teachers of life is this rock bottom moment, because when you're at this rock bottom moment, you really see who's there for you. You really see who's there for you for their own personal gain. You see who's there for you. Maybe, you know, a lot of the times when people are at rock bottom, some people just want to be around them because it makes them feel better about themselves. So I feel like you all really had some things to sort out, you know, really had some old stuff to take away. Even I'm really attracted right now to this wallpaper that's peeling. And when the wallpaper is peeling, you see this little door. I don't know if you all can see that. There's like a little door right out the corner, but it's not until that wallpaper is sort of torn away that that door is revealed. So for many of you, there could have been a huge situation with someone, a place, a situation. You could have gotten fired from your job. Again, someone could have left you. There's just some kind of abrupt ending. And the great part about this is that person, place, or situation who just left your life, you know, you're going through another door, but they just did you a favor. Even if you got fired, even if you felt like you were pushed out of a job, pushed out of a relationship, pushed out of a friendship, they're doing you a favor, because the next place that you're going to, you just overcame that obstacle. And what's next, you know, it's not entirely clear. I might pull another card to clarify this into the unknown, but I feel like there's many of you who are holding on, you know, to someone or something. You could have been holding on to a job, to a relationship, and they just were not for your highest good. And even if you look at this person, it's like with their height, they can't even see out this window, but they can make it out of this door. Some of you could have been in the habit of cleaning up other people's messes, right? So then when you're at rock bottom and you find that there's no one there to help you out of your mess, it really just makes you reevaluate life. And that just keeps going back to this solitude card, right? It's almost like for many of you, you literally did not have a choice but to sort of retreat and go off to yourself, because the people around you may have abandoned you. Even if it was not an intentional abandonment, I feel like many of you just felt like, you know, people either left you or they are leaving your life, and that's hard to deal with. But I'm going to pull a card to clarify this into the unknown, because I feel like there's some beautiful things coming up. I'm going to pull a card to clarify it, and then I feel like this door, right? Because there's this pattern already of hitting rock bottom so that you could build yourself up and step into your power, because once you walk through this door, this unknown, it's going to need this person. It's not going to need that person who was at the bottom, that person who couldn't hold themselves up, that person who was only relying on other people to hold them up. It needed you to stand in your own power. And again, however long, if you feel like you're still at this rock bottom phase and you're still looking for someone, people to come pull you out of it, that could just be a message for you that there is no one who's meant. Like, the obstacle for you to overcome is for you to be able to pull yourself out of whatever has you at rock bottom, and then clear out those people, places, or situations, you know. Now, this is not like doing it out of spite. This is not being petty, like, oh, you didn't help me at my worst, so now I'm not going to help you. This is you just understanding that the people who are meant to be in your life are going to move and behave in a way like they want to be in your life. You know, if someone wants to be in your life, they are going to make the effort, right? So let's pull one final card from, let's see. Okay. So with this coming out right on top of the rock bottom, it's related. Let's see. Wow, wishing well. Oh my goodness, pile number ones. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, right? So when you were at rock bottom, whatever you wished for, again, some of you may feel like you're still battling this obstacle, and hopefully this is giving you some kind of hope on what's next, because this wishing well is what's next. Like, it's so funny because I just posted a new moon. I'm channeling this during the energy of the new moon in Aries, and I just made I made a Instagram post about this, and I said make a wish, because my guides were pulling me to tell the human collective that whatever they've been wishing for, that wish can be granted if you have, you know, the inspired action behind it, and you're taking control and overcoming those obstacles. So I feel like there's something that you all may have wished for when you were at your rock bottom. Like, being at rock bottom could have made you wish for more supportive, loving people in your life. It could have made you wish for a home of your own. It could have made you wish for a house of your own. That's what you're stepping into, right? Some of you may still be in this energy, but most of you are in this energy where you have already overcome this obstacle. And this is beautiful, right? Because because I was getting real good energy from this Into the Unknown card, especially with this rainbow right behind. And then you have the wishing well. So literally, whatever it is you were wishing for when you were down and out, where people may have counted you out, where people may have sort of pushed you to the side, or maybe you felt pushed to the side. Maybe you felt like you were having silent screams and no one was listening, no one could hear you. Whatever you were wishing for, you know, that's what's manifesting. Something I also love about this wishing well is, like, something about a well is it can go really deep, but this well is sort of filled with jewels, right? So it's like every step you took to come out of this moment, to come out of the bottom of the well, come out of this rock bottom, is added up. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is like a treasure, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you are finding things that were considered to be treasures, like maybe finding money, or finding coins, or maybe finding a really glittery mask. I feel like this mask looks really glittery over here. It's almost like just having these small little blessings, and this was just synchronicity, sort of messages from your guides to help you, to motivate you to overcome this obstacle, because what's next is what you were wishing for. So let's take a look at this card that was turned over. So this was the door that you were attracted to this reading for. It says, Jude's song, a reminder for even the most hopeless of lost cases. You can find peace within the strangest places. Oh my goodness, pile number ones, I love it. The place that you found peace was in solitude. Many of you may not have felt like you could have been by yourself and left more peaceful. For some of you, just being alone could have, you know, really been hurtful. But I feel like that solitude, whoever left you, whatever situations may have left you, because for all of you, it's not a person, it could have been a job that let you go that you really cared about, or something like that. Whatever you just overcame, and whatever may have been taken away from your life, it's coming back in a better way. It's coming back in sort of like a rejuvenated way, because you're not the person you were when you were at rock bottom. The person you are now is so much higher, so much more ascended. So now you're at the level where you can really manifest these opportunities. So that rock bottom was really a blessing in disguise for you, pile number ones. But that's actually all the messages I have for your reading. Please do let me know in the comments below how this resonated with you, and I'll see you all in the next reading. Bye bye. All right, so hello and welcome to everyone attracted to pile number 2. This is going to be your pick a card reading on what obstacle you just overcame and what's next. So you were attracted to this pile with this particular door. I'm going to reveal what's behind this door last, but what I'm going to do is pull your cards from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. So what you just overcame, pile number 2s, had a lot to do with your destiny, with your soul path, your spiritual path, your soul journey, whatever you want to call it. That's a pretty major obstacle that you all just overcame, because it's almost like it was an obstacle that was on your path, but it was destined to be on your path. You were destined to go through whatever hardships you just endured, because what's next is going to be so much greater. So that's one thing I love about these readings, is you'll notice what you just had to overcome, any kind of obstacle. It's just like someone training on an obstacle course. The obstacle course is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more agile. It's going to make you more flexible. It's going to strengthen your mind, right? So that's why you had to go through the obstacle. Beautiful. The card that fell, that was turned over, is this Voyage card. Okay, and then I'm seeing that there are 3 cards turned over, and I want to pull the card on the bottom of the deck, which is Abundance. All right, so let's take a look at the cards in the middle. But first, I want to go over this Voyage card. I feel like for you all, this obstacle was maybe not just a short-term thing. Whatever this obstacle was, I felt like you all spent a lot of time feeling out of your element, and you may have spent a lot of time almost feeling like outcasted, sort of left out. But I think you all didn't understand how protected you are. In the same way that this little whale is sort of protected by this mama whale over here, I feel like you all had like the protection of your ancestors, of your true guides and true guardian angels around you. So this voyage, whatever journey, you know, it's almost like what you just overcame was, it was destined because it was a part of your soul journey. That's what this Voyage card is about. It's almost like you were being shielded, pile number 2s. So you had to go through an obstacle, and it may have seemed like you had to go through it all on your own, but there was protection. So it's kind of similar to pile number 1s with overcoming. Pile number 1 was about overcoming rock bottom. So I feel like some of you may have also been attracted to that, but this is taking it a step further, because this isn't necessarily rock bottom. This is feeling like you were out of your element, almost like a fish out of water. All right, let's see the cards in the middle. Wow, we have the White Wolf with Purity. we have Gateway, very magical card. A gateway also talks about a door opening for you all. Okay, and then we have Enlightenment, and this is another very magical card. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you are very connected with your dreams, with astral travel, remote viewing, something that you're doing in the dream state. This is a very spiritual energy that I'm getting, especially with this Enlightenment and this Voyage card, because it's like, not only are you navigating this physical world like most people are, you're taking it a step further, because I feel like you are reaching enlightenment in the spiritual sense, you know. So you all are likely the ones who are here to help heal the world, the guardians of certain areas of the world. You know, I feel like I'm getting strong earth elemental and water elemental energy, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but also Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. But either way, pile number twos, I feel like the obstacle that you just had to overcome was balance, right? Even how this wolf has one blue eye and one green eye, it's almost like being in between worlds. It's almost sort of like being a bridge. You have your physical life and you have your spiritual life. You have your family life and you have your work life. You know, it's like juggling two or more major things that take up all of your energy, like basically having two or more full-time obligations, and you're balancing and holding so much, a lot more than the people around you may be aware of. I'm seeing, especially with this Enlightenment card, it's like you're having this physical voyage, but again, it almost goes into feeling out of your element. So whatever this obstacle was, and again, I'm trying to keep it broad instead of giving specific examples, but if I can think of an example, it's almost like feeling like you got a job that you were not qualified for, and then you're feeling a bit out of your element, or you're feeling like there are people with better qualifications than you have. Or this could just be, you know, being spiritually awakened in an environment where nobody else is. That's something else that could help, that could have you feeling out of your element. Especially since I'm getting very magical energy from you all. Some of you with this unicorn here, some of you may be connected to like these higher realms, especially with this gateway. Some of you may be channels yourself. Some of you may have very strong spiritual gifts, because I feel like these obstacles had a lot to do with owning that. Like this was a part of your destiny. It was a part of your destiny to feel underqualified. It was a part of your destiny to have people second guess you. I feel like you may have dealt with lots of second guessing, lots of people looking at your decisions and maybe asking you whether you're sure of the decisions that you're making, the path that you're taking. Are you sure this is the journey, the voyage that you want to take? Are you sure about the spiritual knowledge or information that you're spreading? So very spiritually awakened energy I'm getting from you, but this is not something that comes easy. This is not like, you know, being in a religion and then everyone else around you follows that same religion. This is being spiritually awakened in an atmosphere where a lot of people just don't either understand your beliefs or maybe just flat out tell you that your beliefs are wrong. And I feel like this was such a major lesson, pile number twos, because you being both, like you being a bridge between two worlds was important. Again, for all of you, it's not necessarily like a spiritual kind of thing. This could be being in a family. You know, I'm getting the most vivid image I'm getting that's coming to me right now. There are multiple coming at once. The most vivid image I'm getting is sometimes you see a mixed race or a biracial child, but they're in an environment where they're just raised by one side of the family. So then it still leaves you feeling a bit out of your element, or like being a minority in a place where you're looked at completely different. It reminds me of this video I was just watching of it was these children and they were Black and Korean, but they were living in Korea, and then just their whole life experience seemed like it was a lesson. Again, this was sort of something, you can tell this is something that they were destined to do, to learn how to walk these two different worlds. But it's challenging. It's challenging when everyone's staring at you. It's challenging when you're so different, you know, because again, it goes back into this energy of feeling like you're out of your element. So that was a major obstacle that you just overcame, pile number 2s. And again, I don't get that this was a short-term thing like pile number 1s. I feel like this is something that you have been sort of battling with your entire life, battling with like holding two different worlds at once, like being the bridge. Many of you may just be what I said, like may just be biracial or mixed race and navigating 2 different worlds that way. But again, many of you, this is a spiritual thing. The reason why it's coming up very spiritual is because this was a part of your destiny. But either way, pile number 2s, I feel like all that you just had to overcome is going to lead you living a more abundant life. Something that's standing out in this abundance card is all the different types of flowers, right? Like when flowers exist in a field, no one expects the same flower to grow. There could be a variety of flowers. We understand that flowers come in all shapes and sizes, and they're just allowed to be. But for many of you, I feel like you may not have been or felt like you were allowed to just be in the environment that you were. It could have been such, whatever it is that's sort of different about you, I feel like it could have been just an obstacle because people expect you, or people may have expected you to be one way and you presented as a totally different way. So for me, this obstacle feels like fighting for your voice, feeling like you're out of your element, fighting for, you know, just the acknowledgement that just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not good enough or you're not as capable as other people. This could be like going on, like you have this career, but you know, it's full of people who have ideas that are totally different than yours. That reminds me, this energy also reminds me of like Dr. Bruce Lipton, like someone who was sort of trained as a scientist, but his findings, because he was so creative in his mind, his findings led him into spirituality because he understood that science could only take you so far. But before he sort of took that leap himself, he had to be in an environment where every time he had an idea, because it wasn't in a textbook, it was shot down as being wrong. So just try to see how this energy resonates for you, because I feel like that's an obstacle that you had to overcome. However, this is going to lead to abundance. Like even if we go back to the example of Dr. Bruce Lipton, I feel like his life right now, he could consider it to be more abundant than being in an environment where every time you have a new idea, it's laughed at or it's shot down because the people around you don't agree, because they can't expand their minds in that way. Because you have been able to walk 2 or more different worlds, you're able to see. It's sort of like, again, this was destined for you, pile number 2. It's helped you to be able to see things in a more expansive way. So very beautiful energy. I want to see what's this I want to see what this card is now for the door. Okay, it says a distant kiss and a prayer flag. I wish of all wishes that you were here. Through sunlight and rain, I need you near. So this is near a gateway. For many of you, pile number 2s, I feel like some of you may have wanted to give up. Some of you may not have wanted to be that bridge. You may not have wanted to walk multiple worlds. Maybe because of what you were experiencing, which could have been competition, just not understanding why humans are the way that they are, not understanding why, you know, because sometimes when people are very low vibration, especially when you're in an environment and you're just trying to do things to the best of your ability, but that either intimidates others because it's not by the book or it's not the way that they've done it, or they just simply don't understand it. Some of you may have wanted to quit. Yeah, like, I feel like it would have been easier for you to conform, but you didn't take the easy way out, pile number 2s. You fought, and I feel like the reason why is because you felt deep within that what you were doing was right, and you're going to be rewarded for that, right? It's led to enlightenment, which means that you're just more expansive, you're more conscious, you're more aware than most people. Someone only living in a certain, like someone raised in a small town, raised in a religion, they only stay there. That's only the information that they consume is what other people are consuming. They're going to be very limited. That's what people, when they say narrow-minded, that's what they mean. When you only have one experience, you're going to be limited. If you only read one book, you're not going to be able to converse with someone about multiple books, right? So you all have a more expansive form of consciousness. You're naturally enlightened, and the reason why you were able to stick with it is because you know it was going to lead to abundance. Now again, some of you still may be in these environments, in these atmospheres. Some of you, you know, maybe you were attracted to this reading because you felt like giving up. You're sick of being the black sheep. You're sick of you know, standing out. Even how this unicorn sort of stands out in this environment. You know, this unicorn is really magical. This background right here is really magical, but a lot of people don't understand that. If this unicorn is around nothing but horses, that unicorn isn't going to be able to see its own beauty because it's going to be judged by who's around it. But I feel like you all were able to stick to what you did because it's part of your destiny. And for many of you, there's going to be someone waiting on the other side. So for me, this could be like twin flame energy, sticking to it. And then, you know, once you're able to make it through, overcome that obstacle, some kind of reunion or union when it comes to a relationship. Definitely not for everybody, but for many of you out there, because it could also be a child kind of thing. Like you all had to figure out what it was to navigate more than one world, because when you have a child, they're naturally going to be able to do that. Even if we go back to that example I gave of the Korean and Black or Korean and African American children, their parents first had to navigate a world of coming together with someone of a different race, since races are considered to be such distinct differences when it comes to humans. So again, your life journey be in preparation for coming together in some kind of romantic relationship, and then the children that you may have as a result. So that's how it is for many of you. But that's actually all I have for your reading, pile number 2s. Please do let me know in the comments below how this resonated with you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. All right, so hello and welcome to everyone attracted to pile number 3. This is going to be your pick a card reading. In this pick a card reading, you're going to be getting some information on what obstacle you just overcame and what's next. Okay, so you were attracted to this reading with this door. What I'm going to do is put this card over to the side, and we'll see what's behind that door after I pull your cards from the Earth Magic Oracle. So pile number 3, I feel like many of the obstacles you had to overcome were centered around Earth-related things. So things you're doing on the physical plane. It could be connected to nature. It could be connected to animals, spirit animals. For many of you, you know, something that happens throughout our lifetimes, throughout our incarnations, is that we swap animal spirits. You know, someone may start off with, say, the animal spirit of an owl, and that animal spirit is with them to help them to gain wisdom, but then they may switch over to the spirit animal of, say, the bunny, when there's a time in their life where fertility is the most prevalent thing. So let's look to see for you, pile number 3s. Let's take a look at the obstacles you were overcoming and what's coming next. But I really do get a strong feeling that a spirit animal just left your life and a new one is coming in. I keep forgetting to shuffle on camera. You know, this also happens with guides. We can have spirit guides who come in and out of our lives depending on what we have to do. I feel like you had a major one for the obstacle you just overcame. Wow. Okay. All your cards came out really fast. And they came out all upright. For all the other piles, the cards were hidden. So, wow. Look what's on the bottom of the deck, pile number 3s. The rebirth card. So this is a major rebirth energy. Many people in the human collective have been going through some kind of rebirth. And I'm seeing, pile number 3s, that this is a major thing for you. So a big obstacle that you just had to overcome. Every single obstacle, every lesson that you just had to overcome had to do with your rebirth. And look at this. We have the rebirth card, and after that we have radiance with the energy of the sun. So this is so beautiful because these two cards together are very powerful, because having a rebirth is one thing, but when you have the energy of the sun, this is giving birth to an entirely new chapter of your life, something that is not the same as before. So I talked about this. I've been talking about this a lot because this energy has been really strong as many people in the human collective are being reborn. But this is giving me a very strong fiery energy. So this is being reborn, and now your life is taking off on the path that it was supposed to. So this is telling me that everything that you have been doing up until this point in your life has been preparation for what's coming next. So again, like I've been saying in other readings, this isn't a small rebirth. This is a huge rebirth. So wow, lots of obstacles related to that. So that's what's next. What's next is your new life. Let's take another look. Let's take a look at these cards. I want to put these cards on the table, especially as you see the summer and the spring, because this gives the energy of the seasons, again, coming into a new season. Something about when there's a rebirth and it's like a whole new season in your life. It could be like the difference between how winter is and how summer is, like a drastic difference. You can look at the same location, but it's going to look totally different in the winter than it does in the summer, depending on where you live. So again, this is a rebirth that's really shaking up things. So let's see. The first card is Stone People with Vigilance. Wow. Clouds with shape-shifting, yes. More energy of shifting into someone new. Someone totally different than who you have been in the past. Beautiful. Green Man with Synergy. Again, very strong earth energy. So a lot of your obstacles, I feel like, have to do with keeping you grounded. And then the final one is Wolf with Instinct. Okay. So irregardless of what your spirit animal was in the past, I feel like you're stepping into this energy of the wolf, because I talked about I feel like there's a shifting going on with animal spirits, and then I see this wolf here. So you're stepping out of whatever energy you just needed to get you through those obstacles. What's next is you stepping into the energy of the wolf, and this is all about instinct. But before I get into what's next, let me talk a little bit about the obstacles. So very similar to pile 1 and 2, I feel like pile number 3 is you had lots of obstacles to help you to be able to see the world more clearly. You know, for me, this really gives a feeling of being emotionally grounded. So many of your lessons, many of your obstacles, you may have felt like you were drowning in your emotion. You may have felt like you were overwhelmed by it, like it was controlling your life, like it was leading your life. But a lot of that, you know, it wasn't there because it's always meant to be there. I feel like it was just an obstacle, not an obstacle that you necessarily needed to do anything with in order to shake. I feel like you just needed a certain amount of years sort of going through the steps of what emotional stability feels like. And in order to really understand what emotional stability feels like, you first have to feel what instability feels like. In order to feel grounded, you first have to understand what it is to not be grounded, to be flighty, to be airy, to be a bit scattered, you know, to be all over the place. I feel like that's what a lot of obstacles that you just had to overcome, because it's helping you to narrow in. It's helping you to become more focused. This goes into the energy you're stepping next into when it comes to the energy of a wolf. The wolf is very calculated, very focused, very strategic, but many of you could have had very flighty, like air. I'm getting air sign kind of energy too. So that doesn't have to be your sun sign. It could be somewhere in your chart. But I feel like there was just struggle with maybe your mind. So maybe feeling really anxious. It could have been struggles with just emotions, right? For me, anxiety is more of a state of being than an emotion, sort of like being fearful. These are states that you can get in. And if you're feeling fearful or anxious, no matter what is in front of you, even if it's like a sunny rainbow-filled day, if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling fearful, that's not how you're going to interpret your reality. You're going to interpret your reality based off of the emotions that may be overwhelming you. So I feel like many of your obstacles had to do with that, pile number 3. It had to do with you becoming more grounded and stable within yourself. With this shape-shifting, I feel like there was another obstacle, was you all sort of it's almost like a coming of age, you know, like going through puberty in a sense, but this is almost a spiritual type of puberty. You know, when you're going through puberty, hormones are all over, and I feel like that's what the emotions were for you. You were going through possibly rebirths and changing and shifting and all these energies around you, and I felt like you may have been very sensitive to that. You could have felt like you weren't grounded, or like there was a sense of instability because I felt like you were moving at such a fast rate. Now again, this was all to help you to become more grounded in your sense of power, but you first needed to fly ahead. So many of you, you know, it could have been lots of acceleration in your life. You could be at a place, I feel like once you get past the obstacle, you're going to be at a place that you maybe never have dreamed of, you know, just like completing goals and obstacles that many people wouldn't even try or dare to do themselves because they didn't have that belief in themselves. I feel like you all had to go through those obstacles because you needed to have that faith in your own power. So it's likely you had people doubt you. It's likely you had obstacles where you may have felt very confused, right? Like even with this green man synergy card, it's like looking into a jungle, and instead of like being able to focus in on what's unique about it, seeing it as a whole. And again, that's not a bad thing. You know, it's basically the difference between seeing a forest for like the whole forest and then seeing it for the individual trees. There's a need for both. There's a need to be able to take a step back, to pan out and be able to look at things in a very general way. And there's a need to focus more in. So I feel like a lot of your obstacles were doing so many different things, expanding in that way. And what you're doing now is narrowing down what you want. How do you want your life to go? That's what this rebirth is about. This could be tricky for someone with your kind of energy, because with this shape shifting, it's like, I feel like you all are very changeable. You know, it reminds me of those mutable signs. I feel like you all are very changeable, very flowy, very go with the flow. You may not resonate with that energy all the time, but I feel like when needed, you can be very go with the flow. And that also may be because I feel like for some of you, you will be on the opposite end where you could have battled with being too inflexible or too focused in. So whatever side of the spectrum you're on, I feel like all of those obstacles had to do with becoming more concentrated, you know, like getting different knowledge and understandings from a whole bunch of different places so that you can figure out what it is you want, how you want to live life. You know, it reminds me of when someone's going through residency, how you sample lots of different types of lots of different practices. You can do orthopedics, you can do a rotation in pediatrics, you can do a rotation in geriatrics, and it's not until you're able to sample all of those things that you can better pinpoint what it is you want to focus on. So I feel like for many of you, the obstacles were just that trial and error, going through a whole bunch of different things so that you can figure out what's for you. Like I'm literally getting a vision of someone, it's almost like taste testing the world, right? Like understanding what vibes with you, what flows with you, what energy, you know, it's a very beautiful energy, pile number 3s, because I feel like it's very free. I feel like you all are able to choose. Not a lot of souls are able to come to earth and necessarily choose what's next for them. But I feel like because you are at a certain level, it's like you were able to really decide what's for you. Some people come to earth and they're following the path of their ancestors, they're following the path of karma. Some of you could have had lots of obstacles with clearing karma, clearing the path of your ancestors. But again, once you're done that, it's almost like you're free. Like this is very beautiful because it's almost like you worked, I feel like you all worked really hard. Like a lot of the obstacles were just obstacles, right? Like I feel like there's no specific obstacle that I can even list. It's just that I feel like a lot you all just had a lot of stuff coming at you. You had a lot of stuff that you needed to surrender. You had a lot of stuff that you needed to sift through. You had a lot of environments that you needed to sort of experience. And these experiences are showing you where you want to go next, and where you want to go next is completely up to you. So I don't even have an answer specifically of what's up next, because I feel like you all are focusing in on that right now. This rebirth is all about what you want to focus on. So it's really up to you, pile number threes. I also, you know, it's hard for me to narrow down specifically what's going on with any individual energy, because you all, there's so many different possibilities, so many different outcomes, so many different directions. For some of you, stepping into the energy of the wolf, you're stepping into the energy of the lone wolf. Maybe you tried out lots of things with lots of different people, and you've come to the conclusion that you want to do things more solo. You want to do things on your own. You know, this could be you tried working with other people and now you want to become your own boss. You want to work for yourself. But that's not for everyone, because for some of you, something else about the wolf is that a wolf is in packs. Most wolves are in packs, even though, you know, the whole lone wolf thing. So some of you could have done more independent work, and you decided now that you want to link up with maybe more alpha wolves, right? So it really does depend on which direction, you know. I'm also getting that from this green man card. I feel like for many of you, you can look at this card, whatever. I feel like some of you are getting images from looking at this card, whatever this card looks like to you, whatever it's representing to you. Someone can look at this card and they can see like a face somewhere in here, or they can see an animal like a panther or something like that, or you could just be attracted to the flowers. Whatever it is, I feel like that has specific and individualized messages for you too, because again, pile number threes, this is all up to you. All of those obstacles, which are very different depending on who's attracted to this pile, were all sort of trial and error for you. It's really beautiful. It's almost like you all were gifted with this planet being almost like your playground. You know, it's like someone trying out the swings to see if they like that or how long they like that. Then you're moving on to the slide, and maybe you're moving on to swimming to see how you like that. You've had those obstacles, and for many of you, it could have seemed fun, the obstacles. Either way, I felt like these obstacles were not supposed to be, they were not supposed to hinder you. They were not supposed to be bad. You all were just sampling. Some of you could have struggled with these obstacles. Like if you felt like you were more burdened than the people around you, if you felt like things were harder for you, like if you felt like, you know, your training was harder, that you had to try out and sample things. Maybe you changed your career a bunch of times and that made you feel bad because you were comparing yourself to other people. Definitely do not. This is not the kind of pile where you can compare your journey to others. I can't even look at this energy and get a very general feel because it's so different. You know, all I know is that you all have went through specific obstacles, but these obstacles were just trial and error, just things for you to try out to see what you like best, because it really is up to you which direction you want your life to go. If you want to take a solo path, go ahead and take it. If you want to take a spiritual path, go ahead and take it. If you want more of a routine job, go ahead and take it. I feel like either way, you can make it work because you have the experiences where you know how to adapt, you know how to shift, you know how to remain vigilant, and you know how to pan out and become more general. So this new beginning is literally of your creation, pile number threes. Let's see what's behind this door. Interesting. This says palmistry, fortune and tarot, collective destiny. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. And this says, listen to the notes of your intuition. Exactly. So your intuition has been guiding you your entire lives, pile number threes. Some of you have known deep down inside that those challenges, obstacles, training were just stepping stones for you to move and sift through and decide and filter out what you want, what you don't want. But I feel like many of you struggled with your obstacles. I feel like many of you, there was some unnecessary pain. There was some unnecessary emotions, especially with this emotional stability over here. I feel like there was some unnecessary pain and stuff because you may have been comparing yourselves to other people. You know, some people may have accomplished what you want to accomplish faster. That does not mean that your journey is wrong. Again, you're someone where you needed a certain amount of years to go through those experiences so that you can move to the next level. But the positive thing, pile number 3s, is that there does not have to be any struggle. That's the biggest lesson of the rebirth and this radiance card. So the spring and summer seasons are going to be extremely beneficial for you. Some people are still going to struggle with their obstacles. Some people are going to have the opportunity to pick what they want, but they may be tempted to second guess themselves. Am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choice? Is this the path for me? No one can answer that question but you, pile number 3s. But that's actually all the messages I have for your reading, pile number 3. Please do let me know in the comments below how this resonated with you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.